Christina's Ghost, Chapter 12, Behind the Attic Door. The air in the upstairs hall was both cold and clammy. Uncle Ralph waited for Chris to catch up to him. Then he strode down the hall. "Promise me you'll never tell anybody about this ghost hunt," he said. "I can't believe I'm actually taking it seriously." Chris gave his sweater a little tug. "We can wait until tomorrow morning," she said. "It's okay with me." "Well, it's not okay with me." He put his hand on the knob of the attic door. "You can sit down here if you want to," he said. "I'll just go up and take a quick look." He turned the knob. The door flew open and crashed against the wall. An icy blast poured into the hall. "What's this?" Uncle Ralph staggered backward. Chris flattened herself against the wall, trying to escape the icy fingers that tore at her clothes. Uncle Ralph grabbed the door frame and to steady himself. "Stay where you are, Christina," he bellowed over the roar of the wind. "I'm going up." "Wait for me!" Chris's cry was lost in the gale, but she wasn't going to let Uncle Ralph out of her sight. As they mounted the first steps, the rush of air grew even stronger. Chris clutched the banister with both hands. Uncle Ralph switched on the flashlight and pointed the beam toward the top of the stairs. Crouching against the wind, Chris peered around him. At first she saw nothing but leaping shadows. Then the shadows came together into a single gigantic figure. It was a man, looming, spread-legged at the top of the stairs. Uncle Ralph stopped. Who's there?" he shouted. The figure stood unmoving. The wind roared down at them, and Uncle Ralph seemed to be having trouble holding the flashlight steady. "Look!" Chris screamed. "Uncle Ralph, look! The light shines right through him." She let go of the railing, and the wind actually lifted her and flung her down the steps into the hall. Uncle Ralph was right behind her. They landed in a tangled heap on the floor. "Close the door!" Chris cried. "Oh, close the door, quick!" She could hear the thud of the descending footsteps. Uncle Ralph staggered to his feet. He put his shoulder to the door and pushed against the wind with all his strength. The door swung shut with a bang. In the same instant, the raging wind was silenced. Uncle Ralph leaned against the door, panting. Then he grabbed Chris's hand and pulled her down the hall to his bedroom. Together, they pushed and shoved his heavy oak bureau out into the hall and up against the attic door. "I'll say this much," Christina, Uncle Ralph gasped as they stepped back from their barricade. "I am now definitely a believer. Your ghost is my ghost." Chris didn't even think of saying "I told you so." It was enough that Uncle Ralph believed her. He wouldn't accuse her again of not knowing the difference between pretending and truth. "What do we do now?" she asked. "Can we go away somewhere? I'm really scared, Uncle Ralph." "So am I," Uncle Ralph replied. He gave the bureau another shove to be sure it rested snugly against the door, and then he waved Chris down the stairs. "We'll talk about it," he said, "in the kitchen. What I need right now is a hot cup of cocoa."